A letter for Delet hovers above the road where the cart rolls. He unfolds it, recognizing the handwriting of a Milal student. Reading the letter, Delet smiles warmly, memories flooding back. The scene flashes weeks ago, the city of Rayton, the blacksmith's guild. Delet, a blacksmith, is stunned by the news. Expulsion? For what? The guild leader coldly explains, Delet has become a burden to them. The blacksmith is unable to make sense of these new, complicated terms. Master Sinyan explodes. You are banished. Get out immediately. A puzzled Delet leaves and Sinyan grins maliciously after him. He won't come back, the guild leader says smugly. The door slams shut behind Delet, cutting off the past. The carriage arrives at the gate. The driver announces, We have arrived, sir. The boy is happy about the repaired horse, and his mother thanks Delet with a smile. Delet waves his hand at the departing carriage, watching it go. 30 years of blacksmithing. Delet looks at his calloused hands. Before him lay the capital of the kingdom of Grossa, a huge city. The capital's market square is bustling with life, striking Delet with its scale. But exile may be for the best, thinks Delet, walking through the crowd. Delet approaches a bustling food stand, inquiring about the local dishes. While enjoying the shashlik, he tells the vendor that he came from Ritten. The merchant asks about the price of the falchion, and Delet admits that he was kicked out of the guild. Suddenly, a scream is heard. A customer accuses the merchant of breaking her weapon. Delet turns around at the noise that seems to be coming from the gun shop. The food vendor warns Delet. That shop has a bad reputation. It's worth taking a closer look. Delet makes his way through the crowd, overhearing a woman accuse a merchant of selling a poor quality sword. The merchant, with a sly grin, demands that the woman prove her words. The woman is furious, and her little son is frightened and begging her to stop. Delet watches the scene as a close-up of the broken steel-hued sword is shown. Delet intervenes, addressing the merchant. It is not good to deceive, brother. The merchant shouts after the departing Delet, I am also a blacksmith. This falchion is made of tinstone, not steel ore. The merchant, in a panic, points his finger at his eye, denying the accusations. Delet confidently declares, Here is the proof, turning to the woman with the child. A close-up of Delet shows the metal defect at the sword's break. The crowd begins to whisper. Someone suggests calling the guards. The woman reproachfully asks the merchant if he thinks about his customers. Delet's eyes sparkle with determination. As a blacksmith, he cannot stand this. Delet, arms crossed, demands that the merchant take responsibility. The young merchant mutters curses, not wanting to listen to Delet. Suddenly, the merchant rushes forward with a weapon, shouting, Don't you dare teach me! Suddenly, a figure with long hair appears, blocking the merchant's attack. The long-haired warrior disarms the merchant. Delet is amazed. Her determined look, the merchant's weapon flies off. Mother and son are delighted. The guards take the swindler away. The crowd rejoices. Delet watches. The warrior turns out to be the captain of the Grossa Guard. Delet recognizes her. Delet thanks her, and she replies that it is her job, looking at him carefully. The girl asks Delet if he is the one. Delet is panicking about unemployment. I'm Milal, don't you remember me? She asks with a smile. Memory. 10 years ago, Delet made a toy sword for little Milal. Delet's eyes widen in shock and recognition. Milal? You've grown so much, Delet exclaims, and she confirms, It's you, teacher! The military man smiles, and the guardsmen wonder who the man next to the captain is. She explains to her subordinates that this is the one who took care of her as a child, and asks them to step aside. The guards salute and withdraw, leaving Milal and Delet to talk alone. Delet is stunned. Milal, captain of the Grossa Guard? And the Milal keychain on his bag smiles. You have achieved incredible heights, Delet exclaims, and Milal modestly denies it. Milal takes out her sword, claiming that she owes everything to him. She holds out the sword to Delet. Sword? What do you mean? Look, master. Close up, Delet draws an unusually shaped blade from its sheath, its steel gleaming. Delet's face contorts with shock and recognition. He can't believe his eyes. Delet holds the legendary S-rank black blade of Shinma, and Milal proudly declares, This is your work, master. Delet is confused. I don't remember forging such a sword. Milal explains with a beaming smile, The toy sword has evolved. What? Never heard of that! Delet is shocked. Milal adds, Me too. Milal explains that the sword changed shape as she grew older until it became like this. Delet examines the blade. Perhaps the weapons I create are capable of evolving. Close-up of the sword, Delet compares it to that same toy. That toy? It's unbelievable, and it was just a child's toy, mutters Delet. The inscription appears, the maturation of the owner's feelings. Eh? That was my hypothesis, Milal says, and Delet is surprised. Milal asks if the instruments made by the teacher were taken care of and written. Delet recalls that in Rithen, due to the abundance of adventurers, there was a culture of disposable weapons. As a blacksmith, he could not put up with such waste and disregard for work. Military suggests, the owner's feelings are maturing, so they were thrown away earlier. Delet agrees. Blushing in embarrassment, Milal confesses, Master, I have a favor to ask of you. Delet is surprised, and Milal reminds him of the letter. This concerns Grossa's army. Suddenly, Milal grabs Delet by his clothes. Become the exclusive blacksmith of the Grossa army. Delet retreats in panic. Impossible, too much responsibility, Milal begs. I can't ask anyone else, Master, Milal insists as Delet tries to refuse. The rescued woman and her son approach, apologizing. Sorry to interrupt, we have a small matter. The mother and son warmly thank Milal for her help, and she smiles modestly in response. Mother and son bow low, thanking Delet and Milal. Milal suddenly grabs Delet's hand, saying, Then we'll hurry. The rescued people wave at them, inviting them to stay at their hotel in the Eastern District. Delet, smiling, promises to come later if he has time. Milal resolutely drags the stunned Delet down the street through the crowd. They arrive at a building with a sign that says, Written Blacksmith's Guild. Inside, an elegant man in a suit admires his reflection in the mirror. The man poses smugly, admiring his beauty with a sparkling effect. He greets his female employees. Good morning, it's so fresh without Delet, let's start the meeting. The door swings open and Delet appears on the threshold, accompanied by guards, interrupting the man. The elegant man turns around, and the young man, Senji, enters and asks, Is Master Delet here? Guildmaster Sinyan's face twists into an evil grin at the mere mention of Delet. Delet's thoughts, he is horrified by the prices on the menu. Money is literally flying away. Eternal financial panic. Back at the guild, Senji, posing as an envoy from the palace, officially searches for Delet. Sinyan seethes with rage. A request of this Delet? His contempt knows no bounds. Don't you have any business with me, the guildmaster? Sinyan yells. Senji coldly replies, No. Delet is gone! I threw that good-for-nothing out! Sinyan boastfully declares, and Senji is shocked. Sinyan complains dramatically. He devoured the guild's resources and had no respect for me at all. Well-deserved retribution. Sinyan gloats, while Delet mutters nearby, I'm gone? Senji screams in shock. You kicked out a blacksmith recognized by the queen herself? Delet is completely devastated. Sinyan backs away in panic, muttering that this is a serious problem, and Senji tries to explain something. The guildmaster grabs the case, shouting, I'll show you something! I'm the guildmaster! He opens the briefcase, declaring, I'm much better than Delet. Delet and the guard are stunned. Shining inside is the angel sword of Amaruga, rank S, holy attribute. Sinyan whispers reverently, Beautiful, truly angelic, swallowing. Senji explains, This is a national treasure. Delet was supposed to fix it. Sinyan is furious. The floor creaks under the feet of an enraged Sinyan as Senji repeats, Exactly Delet. Sinyan's face is distorted with anger. He cannot believe what he heard about Delet. Enraged, Sinyan grabs Senji by his clothes, shouting, Stop bullying him! He couldn't have created such a sword. Leave me alone, Senji, Sinyan yells, pointing at the blade. Senji explains, or rather, not created, but... Sinyan in the background is beside himself with anger. Amaruga is an evolved sword, Senji continues calmly, looking at the blade.
Sinyan is furious. Weapon evolution? Are you kidding me?
It's true. Her Majesty ordered that he be found immediately, Senji replies. Sinyan's face distorts in shock. Queen, national treasure, evolution. Enough, I'll fix it myself right now. Sinyan snatches the hilt of the sword. Senji tries to stop him. Wait, only Master Delet can do this. Sinyan smirked smugly. I'm the guild master. Wait there, Senji shouts, but Sinyan is already heading for the exit. Get out! Sinyan sends the staff away, muttering, Just a whetstone. Sinyan is confident. I've never sharpened swords, but I've seen everything, so I can handle it. He thinks smugly, I've mastered all the techniques. Absolute confidence. Suddenly, a deafening crash comes from the workshop, frightening everyone outside. Senji knocks worriedly. Sinyan-san, such a loud noise. Are you okay? From inside, they answer that work is in full swing. Close up. Sinyan breaks out in a cold sweat as the tension builds. The Amatsurugi sword lies on the whetstone, broken in half. What? It's broken! Sinyan lies prostrate on the floor, horrified by what he has done. Death penalty. Torture. Exile. Panic distorts Sinyan's face. What to do? What to do? No! The guildmaster tries to pull himself together. Calm down, you need to think calmly. He breathes deeply. A spark flashes in Sinyan's eye. It's dawning on me. It seems he has a plan. Sinyan frantically rummages through the boxes. If it's broken, we need to glue it. Somewhere around here was... He finds a bottle labeled temporary glue and exclaims, This is it! The guildmaster comes out with a sword. Sorry for the wait. Senji is surprised. So fast. As expected of you. Senji wants to examine the blade, but Sinyan stops him. Don't touch it, it's still in a fragile state. Sinyan hides the sword behind his back. However, you doubt me? The guildmaster tuts internally, and Senji sheepishly replies, Not at all. Sinyan proudly shows off the repaired sword. How is it? It looks great, doesn't it? Senji remarks, Indeed, but the blade still feels jagged. Shinyan hurries to put the sword away. It's an illusion. I'll put it in the case. While putting the sword away, Sinyan thinks, if it breaks during transport, I'll blame it on them. Suddenly, he notices something is wrong. Ah! The sword falls apart in the case with a crash before the stunned eyes of Senji and the guard. Sinyan is horrified. Senji, the guards and the guild staff are in complete shock, and Sinyan is also barely hiding her horror. Senji babble in panic. Sinyan-san, you didn't fix it, did you? Delet and the other guild members look on with disapproval as Sinyan continues to sweat. Sinyan mutters, It's weird. I was supposed to fix everything perfectly, as sweat pours down. Senji lowers his head in dismay, and Sinyan awkwardly tries to justify himself. This is a new disassemblable model. Suddenly, Senji grabs Sinyan by the collar, shouting, What have you done? Why the hell did you break it? You should have trusted someone else. Senji is beside himself. Sinyan indignantly pokes back. Senji, holding back his rage, utters only one name, Sinyan. With cold determination and a tear in his eye, Senji declares, I'm arresting you. Sinyan's face twists into a grimace of pure, unadulterated horror at what he heard. And so, after the scandal, the story moves to another corner of the city. Delet calmly sips tea, saying, I got kicked out of the guild. At the table, the noble lady is in despair, and Delet is surprised. How could they kick out such a master? The lady angrily pokes her fork into the cake, exclaiming, This guildmaster is the height of incompetence. An order comes from the carriage. Behave decently, S-Master. Someone is being transported. Inside the carriage, Sinyan is handcuffed between two guards, and Senji asks, How did this happen? Sinyan's face is distorted with anger. He gnashes his teeth in helplessness and rage. Meanwhile, Delet stands with his back turned, and someone blames him. It's all because of Delet. Sinyan, looking at the departing carriages, swears, I will definitely take revenge. The scene shifts to the main base of Gross's army, where someone apologizes to Delet for the request. The soldier suggests, Let's just listen to you first, Delet agrees. The S-Master notices in the distance, Ah, there it is. They approach the building. These are the forge workshops of Gross's army, the soldier explains. The S-Master is impressed by the size, as expected from a state forge. Entering inside, the S-Master announces, Excuse me. The young men in the workshop turn around. The young blacksmiths immediately line up and salute those who enter. At ease, commands the S-Master, and one of the guys asks, Commander, who is this man? The master proudly introduces, This is Mr. Delet, the creator of my magic sword Sinma. The young blacksmiths look at the legendary master in complete amazement. What? Delet smiles sheepishly. Nice to meet you, I'm Delet. The young blacksmiths whisper, A legendary master? He's just an old man. Delet thinks with embarrassment, As for Sinma, I'm not sure myself. The old man, then. The emblem of the Gross Army, and the S-Master continues, so. The S-Master turns to the students. Where is Mr. Nanahikari? They hesitate. One of the young men points to the sword. It worked a little and disappeared. The commander sighs with displeasure. Again, I'll have to inform you without him. Delet is alarmed. Are these really the circumstances that Milal spoke of? S-Master nods. It turns out that Nanahikari is the only son of Duke Farground, who generously donates to the army. She continues, he is arrogant, he forges terribly, but because of the situation we are forced to remain silent. Delet chuckles and S-Master suggests, therefore teacher, show him the difference in class. S-Master presents Delet's plan of action. S-Master yells at Nanahikari. One of the blacksmiths remembers Nanahikari. The blacksmiths discuss where Nanahikari is and what he is repairing. Nanahikari appears with a sword, pleased with himself. He shows his masterpiece to the blacksmiths. The sword falls apart in the hands of the blacksmith. The blacksmith is horrified and Nanahikari is shocked. Nanahikari asks what happened to the sword. They show a close-up of the broken sword. Nanahikari turns around upon hearing about Delet, then leans sharply towards the other blacksmith. But I was the one who fixed it. Nanahikari theatrically covers his face with his hand in despair. In a rage, Nanahikari grabs the young blacksmith by the collar. Why the hell are you so sour? Delet intervenes decisively, pulling Nanahikari away from the frightened boy. Hey, if you're a blacksmith, fix it properly, Delet says calmly but firmly. What do you want, old man? Take your hand off me! Nanahikari flares up, looking at Delet. S-Master tries to calm Nanahikari. This is Mr. Delet, the creator of my Sinma. Nanahikari freezes in shock when he hears who is in front of him. Wait, what? The S-Master suggests, since Nanahikari Dono is a first-class blacksmith, maybe you could compete with Delet. Nanahikari looks at Delet with a challenge. Come on, show me what you can do, old man. Delet is surprised. Nanahikari announces with a challenge, aha, a blacksmith duel. The rules are as follows. The fighters will cross their swords and the one who breaks first loses. He smiles smugly. However, there are two conditions. First of all, old man, he declares, you use only local materials. And secondly, he points to the young students, your sword will hold. The most inexperienced of them, Confit. The boy just blinks in surprise. The students whisper anxiously, and one of them recognizes Confit, whom they had not noticed in the morning. Delet, to S-Master's amazement, accepts the challenge with calm determination. Then it's decided, Nanahikari smirks. S-Master is worried about the outcome. Nanahikari throws to Delet, the duel is in 5 days. If I lose, get out. If I win, you'll take the matter seriously. Nanahikari chuckled haughtily. Okay, I'll lend you this forge. S-Master apologizes to Delet for the commotion, and Confit runs up to them. Confit is in tears. What should I do? I just came for the sword. Delet calms him down. Delet winks confidently. To create a masterpiece from what you have, that's true mastery. S-Master and Confit look at Delet with hope and admiration. The forge is blazing furiously. Smoke is already pouring out of the workshop chimney. Delet looks over the materials. Even from D-rank raw materials, something worthwhile can be made. The master timidly asks permission to observe the teacher at work. Delet begins forging, heating the metal to a glowing temperature, while S-Master watches from afar, fascinated. The master is focused. The entire drawing of the future sword is already in his head. Delet processes the metal with heat, sparks fly. The master listens to the rhythmic blows of the hammer with a smile, remembering how long it has been since she heard this sound. The master's back is tense. He is completely absorbed in the process. The blacksmith's blood is boiling. A crazy but happy smile lights up Delet's face. He loves his craft. Delet looks at the micro-thunder magic stone. With this, I will greatly improve the sharpness, create a better sword for Confit. He resolutely fuses the stone into the blade. This is his duty and calling. The S-Master is amazed. Teacher, are you finished already? Delet calmly confirms, and S-Master is amazed. 30 years of experience really does speed up forging, but the master mutters thoughtfully, rank? National treasure? Was it better than I expected? The S-Master asks incredulously if he gave it his all, and Delet just laughs cheerfully in response. The master loudly calls everyone to the forge, where a crowd has gathered. She joyfully announces, Mr. Delet's sword is ready. Confit, come here. The students whisper in delight, wow, that's fast. I wonder what kind of sword that is. Confit salutes in surprise. Commander Delet, are you finished yet? Delet confirms that the sword is ready even earlier than he expected. Close-up of Delet showing the hilt. Here it is, the sword I forged. Delet proudly presents the S-rank lightning sword Kamina's, warning Confit to be careful. Confit holds the shining blade in delight. What a beautiful sword. The S-Master admonishes Confit. Delet put his soul into it, try your best. The S-Master decisively declares to the crowd, before the fight, I will personally take care of Confit's training. The S-Master announces, starting tomorrow, I will be training you, Confit, so get ready. Meanwhile, at his estate, Nanahikari is indignant. What has this old man done? He furiously shows his reddened hand to the maid. My beautiful hand! I will not forgive him for this. Hey, Eugene! Maid Eugene calmly replies, yes, sir. Nanahikari shudders, thinking, this maid is capable but somehow creepy. He points his finger at his hand. Find evidence on this hand to convict him. Eugene looks at the hand and calmly states, they're gone, leaving Nanahikari in shock. While bandaging his hand, Eugene states, the young master's hand is in perfect order. What about these materials? Nanahikari presents a scattering of S-rank materials. I ordered this to be brought from our treasury. With their help, the best blacksmiths of the main guild of the country will forge a first-class sword, he orders, and Eugene agrees. Nanahikari is burning with anger. Old man, I will take revenge at any cost. First day of training. S-Master prepares Confit for the harsh reality. Delet watches, and the mentor sets the task. The main thing is that your sword holds up. Yes! Confit is determined to dodge and parry. The S-Master rushes into the attack. Remember with your body how to move. Her sharp attack shocks Delet and the young student. She unleashes a furious blow, and Confit struggles to defend himself. Parry with the blade, not the flat, commands the S-Master after the clash. Confit successfully parries the blow, thinking, it worked, and the commander? The master sternly, don't lose your head in battle, one more time. Confit asks to continue. Delet watches, thinking, it's been so tough since day one. An exhausted Confit thanks his mentor while lying on the ground. The master announces, tomorrow is training with Kaminasa. Night falls on the city. In the morning, S-Master asks Deleta to prepare Kaminasa, and the dining room is bustling with life. Confit and the other students devour the food greedily, regaining their strength. Comrades discuss Confit's tough training. These are real fights. Students admire Confit's tenacity. With such a small body, he tries so hard. Confit, with his mouth full, objects, small is too much, and gets ready to leave. Yes, I'm first. Confit takes the tray away, leaving his astonished comrades. A sudden call of Confit makes him turn around, and something soft touches his head. Delet looks thoughtfully as his comrades encourage Confit. Don't catch a cold. At night, Delet notices Confit secretly training in the courtyard. He's here! Confit is furiously honing his skills, falling and getting up again, and Delet is worried. Confit-chan, you're doing well. Delet approaches the exhausted but surprised student. Confit is amazed. Mr. Delet, are you training so late? He asks, embarrassed. This is my daily norm. I want to at least catch up with the commander a little. Confit answers under the light of the lantern. The boy beams. The commander is my idol, remembering S-Master. Delet with a training sword. Military training is harsh. I was worried and came to check. Mr. Delet is so kind, thinks Confit, and the master decides that he worried in vain. Confit squeezes Kaminasu. Because of me, this beautiful sword must not break. Confit in admiration. What a wonderful sword. This tingling sensation. Simply delightful. Delet waves him off. It's late. You have to go. Confit bids him good night. Delet walks alone down the night street carrying his sword. In his mind is the determination and joy of Confit holding Kaminasu. Delet muses, for my sword to be so pleasing. When was the last time I felt like this? A slight smile touches Delet's lips, touched by the boy's sincerity. So, Delet resolutely quickens his pace under the light of the lantern. He runs down the street singing, now I'm going to start tuning the Kaminasa. 4 days later, an enraged Nanahikari shouts, Hey, Guildmaster, at the building's threshold. Nanahikari angrily pokes his sword at the official. Why is this an A rank? He doesn't even have an attribute. The official mumbles that S rank materials are too difficult to handle. Nanahikari angrily drives him away, demanding compensation for the damage. He threatens Eugene, demanding that she pay for her failure with the sword with her life. A fearsome mercenary, Destroyer Detroit, enters the room. Detroit arrived when called, and Nanahikari and Eugene were already waiting for him at the table. Nanahikari complains to Detroit about the A-rank sword. Eugene stands by impassively. Detroit takes the sword, declaring, "Whatever it is, I'll break it." With incredible strength, he bends the steel sword with his bare hands. The curved sword falls to the floor. Detroit smirks. Nanahikari is stunned. The bent metal lies on the floor. The outcome of the fight was predetermined. Nanahikari smirks. Well, let's have some fun. It can't be helped. He orders Eugene, "Don't tell your parents about this." The day of the blacksmith's duel arrives. The sky is covered with clouds. Nanahikari casually greets someone, "Hey, old man." He didn't run away. That's already commendable, Nanahikari says to Delet, who hasn't seen him for 5 days. Delet and S-Master are tense. The crowd of students whisper excitedly. The duel is announced. Nanahikari versus Deleta in the arena. Nanahikari smiles smugly. Eugene stands behind him. Confit enters the arena with a shining kamanasa. Let's begin the blacksmith duel. Delet and S-Master watch the start of the fight from afar with alarm. The crowd recognizes the thug. That's Handbreaker Detroit. Seriously? The kamanasa in Confit's hands crackles with energy. What's wrong with Confit's sword? The master is alarmed. Confit, this is too reckless. The old man next to him nods. Nanahikari smirks. It's still a show sword. Eugene remains impassive. They announce the rules. A broken sword or going out of the ring means defeat. What, you even made some additional changes? Detroit scornfully. And this little thing is my opponent. Confit with the shining sword looks a little confused, but stands firm. The judge waves his hand. So, the tension mounts. Begin! Detroit roars as he brings the giant sword down on Confit. A mighty blow. The arena cracks, raising dust and debris from Detroit's force. Confit covers his mouth, stifling a scream from the shockwave. The students can barely stand on their feet. What power! The wind even reaches here. Detroit mocks. All you can do is dodge, little thing? Confit miraculously avoids another crushing blow. The ground cracks. The boy is cornered. Detroit smirks. There's nowhere left to run. The crowd is horrified. I don't want to see Confit turned into mincemeat. Confit with a shining kamanasa. Give up? Who's talking? Detroit is furious. You'll regret this, puppy. Confit flinches, but the determination in his eyes does not fade. Delet shouts from afar, Confit-chan, for the sake of the commander, for the sake of Kaminasa. Confit shouts, I definitely won't lose. Detroit swings his sword, roaring, I'll crush you. Lightning bolts of energy fill the arena as Confit meets Detroit's punch. Delet, S-Master, and Nanahikari are stunned by Kaminasa's incredible power. Detroit's giant sword shatters into pieces upon impact with the shining Kaminasa. The students are shocked. The sword of the destroyer broke without a sound. How sharp! Delet mutters in confusion. Settings. Did I overdo it? The master exults. Master, you did it! Confit's victory is announced. Delet proudly. Commander, Confit, well done. Detroit staggers away. Nanahikari is stunned. Nanahikari angrily addresses Delet. From now on, as agreed, you will work hard as a blacksmith. He continues to rage. I'll sue you all. I'll make you give up blacksmithing in this lousy country. Nanahikari screams, pointing at Eugene. It looks like she hit him. Eugene bows, apologizing for Nanahikari's rudeness as he holds his cheek. Eugene and Detroit leave silently, leaving Delet and the others confused. Nanahikari yells after him that he will not forgive this destroyer and will file a complaint. Detroit announces his resignation, admitting defeat to the little girl. He walks away down the corridor, intending to live in peace, and says goodbye. Nanahikari turns her anger on Eugene, calling her useless and cruel. Eugene leaves, and Nanahikari screams at how she dared to raise her hand to him. She states that she will take responsibility for harming Nanahikari, asking for time. Eugene adds that he will also report on his dealings with the S materials in Detroit. Nanahikari is shocked. Eugene has already reported everything to his parents. He runs down the corridor in a rage, shouting, "Eugene, you traitor! I told you to keep quiet!" Horror froze in Nanahikari's eyes. He understands what awaits him. Suddenly, his formidable father and mother appear, radiating fury. The parents are angry. "How dare you use materials for another country? You are disgracing the Fergrand family." Father announces, "We have run out of patience. We are banishing you." Nanahikari cannot believe his ears. The guards grab him. His father orders, "Take him to Taman Forest." Nanahikari begs for mercy. Like a tiny figure, he reaches out to his parents, but their decision is unyielding. Nanahikari finds himself alone in the eerie Taman Forest, full of rustling sounds and night creatures. In a panic, he brushes aside invisible dangers, cursing his exile to a forest teeming with monsters. Nanahikari in the forest is tormented by regret. Why did I insist on that blacksmith competition? He wanders through the thicket, tormented by the thought, I should have been more honest. At the barracks, there is praise. Confit, this victory in the competition was magnificent, worthy of Gross's army. Delet thanks the commander and proudly notes, Confit-chan tried the hardest. Confit hurries to the call of the students, who are already celebrating with shouts of, meet in honor of victory. As Master notes, it was a good discovery. Delet smiles as he looks forward to Confit's future. Delet and S-Master depart, leaving behind the joyful company with Confit. Under the night sky, S-Master addresses the soldiers. From this moment on, Delet Dono. Delet is stunned. He is appointed as the exclusive blacksmith of Gross's army to a standing ovation. The story moves to the majestic royal palace of the Kingdom of Grossa. Senji walks down the prison corridor, from where an angry cry is heard, "Let me out!" In the cell, Nanahikari's father rages, "Do you think you can get away with this?" Senji approaches the cell where Nanahikari's father continues to yell, and the guards greet the boy. Senji activates the magic seal on the cell door with a light touch. The door opens and Senji calmly orders Nanahikari's father, "Get out!" Meanwhile, the soldiers of Gross's army enthusiastically thank Delet for the repaired swords. Delet, now the army's exclusive blacksmith, is struggling to keep up with the influx of orders. He sits at a table surrounded by impatient soldiers awaiting his mastery. A magnificent sword shines in the display case, causing admiration. What a beautiful blade. Confit declares with determination, "I will train hard to become worthy of Kaminasa." The students discuss S-rank patterns, comparing them to the strength of a commander capable of defeating the Demon King. Delet is amazed. What? Militaru defeated the Demon King? The students admire the commander, and Delet sighs with pride. He has become so magnificent. Delet looks over his work with satisfaction. And my swords are doing a good job too. The guys admire Delet, the creator of Kaminasa, and dream of becoming such cool craftsmen. Delet thinks with a slight smile. They still call me an old man. The master announces to the students, well, that's all for today. A huge crowd of soldiers waits impatiently for Delet, shouting, "We'll come again tomorrow!" S-Master approaches Delet. "Master, you look busy. You must be tired." She continues, "Thanks to you, the soldiers have changed. Everyone wants Kaminasu and trains hard." Delet smiles and answers S-Master that being a blacksmith is his calling. S-Master conveys a message from the Queen to Delet, don't overdo it with repairs and creation. She adds that if everyone gets Kaminasu, the military system will collapse, and she has important news. The Master announces, "Her Majesty wishes to see you. Let us go to the palace." Delet is shocked. Right now? What is this honor for? The S-Master explains, "Your successes have raised the army's morale. This is a great achievement." Delet panics. "I, a simple citizen to the Queen herself? What should I do?" He nervously asks S-Master, "What is she like, Her Majesty Militaru?" In the throne room sits Queen Serenade Grossa, sternly chastising the incompetent, while Delet and S-Master rise out of breath. The Queen descends, and Delet, struck by her beauty, hears, "It is my fault that I did not see his incompetence." The Queen addresses Senji while Delet is horrified by her words of incompetence. Senji answers the Queen with determination, "I'm ready for anything." The Queen suddenly spanks Senji with her whip, exclaiming, "You know I hate incompetence." Delet watches in shock as Senji appears to enjoy the punishment, and the Queen demands more zeal from him. Now it is Delet who receives the whip, screaming in surprise, while the Queen is furious about the broken sword. The queen, in a rage, continues to punish both, declaring to Delet, "I remove you from your post as guildmaster." S-Master wakes Delet from a nightmare or memory. "Master, we have arrived at the palace." In front of the huge palace doors, S-Master asks Deleta, "Are you ready?" Delet's heart is pounding. He mutters, "Another year to prepare." The guards throw open the massive doors, and the S-Master encourages, "Master, everything will be fine." The S-Master reassures, "Her Majesty is kind to those who are competent." In the throne room, the queen greets, "It's good that you've come. Raise your heads." Delet, visibly nervous, introduces himself to Her Majesty. The queen notes with a slight smile, "Your Kamina and Shinma are magnificent, I admit it." Her hand points at Delet, proclaiming, "You are the best blacksmith in the kingdom." Delet, stunned by such an honor, mutters, "Ah, what happiness." Close-up of Delet's face, a mixture of surprise and deep gratitude. The queen continues, "And with Nanahikari you got it too. My eyes were clouded, not seeing your talent." Delet thinks, Her Majesty's eyes, like precious stones, not at all clouded. The queen smiles. "You are an excellent blacksmith, but it seems you don't get along very well with women?" The queen announces that she has summoned them because of damage to the national treasure, the sword Amaruga. Delet is surprised. "Amarugi?" S-Master opens the case, revealing the legendary blade. In the past, a certain sword-loving aristocrat loved this sword so much that it evolved and was then presented to the country in a panic. Delet looks at the broken S-rank sword, thinking, "Evolution again. I don't remember this. I'm still far from it." Deleta shudders as she remembers the queen's nightmarish words about incompetence. The queen is amazed. "What? You created such a precious sword without even realizing it?" Her Majesty laughs heartily. "What a funny man." Delet is relieved to think that he is not being scolded. The queen gives Delet an important mission. "I want you to fix this Amarugi." Delet looks at the broken sword. "Fix it. But this." The queen adds, "And also." Suddenly, someone flies across the throne room screaming, "Gwa!" Delet and S-Master are shocked. There is a blonde guy lying on the floor whom Delet recognizes. Shion? The queen, with an icy gaze, declares, "This fool dared to damage a national treasure, so I have one more request." She offers Delet, pointing to the fallen man. "Will you not take him as an apprentice?" Delet is furious. Shion jumps up, shouting at the queen, "Your Majesty, don't give the initiative to the incompetent Delet. You are the one who is incompetent." The queen scolds the impudent fellow, and he, having already introduced himself as Senji, bows to Delet, who thinks, "How scary." Senji assures with a beaming smile, "I won't give Delet any trouble, rest assured." Delet, realizing that he cannot refuse the queen, sighs humbly, "So that's how it is." The queen leaves, saying in parting, "Well, I have great hopes for the future from you." The doors slam shut, leaving a stunned Deleta, S-Master, Senji, and another man in the room. Delet stretches in relief. "Wow, that's tense." And Senji gives him a sharp look. Delet, stretching his stiff neck, mutters, "I think I'll go back to the hotel." The attendant asks where Delet is staying, and S-Master replies, "In the East District, at a hotel." He is offered housing from the army, but Delet declines with a smile. "No need to worry." Delet adds with satisfaction that his current hotel is simply wonderful. The guide decides to accompany them at least part of the way, and they leave the night palace. The camera shows a panorama of the East District, where their group is heading. Finally, they come to a cozy 2-story building. This is the hotel. Delet opens the door with a cry of, "Teru-san, I'm back," and the S-Master behind him is clearly puzzled. A cute girl with pigtails greets him happily. "Welcome back, Delet-san. I was so worried." Suddenly, S-Master, with a jealous aura, announces, "Eh? From today on, I'm staying here too." Delet and Teru are in complete shock. The master, with a creepy smile, declares, "From today on, I'm staying here." Teru, although surprised, immediately agrees to prepare a room for S-Master. Delet is still in a stupor. Teru cheerfully offers Delet dinner or a bath, mentioning that Militaru, E-Master, will be joining. Delet chooses dinner. Suddenly, Senji bursts in shouting, "Why is only Delet being spoiled? I'll stay here too!" The attendant immediately kicks Senji out, growling that he won't let him stay in a decent hotel. Teru regretfully reports that with Militaru's arrival, there are no free rooms left, except for the stable at the back. Senji, dragged along by his escort, screams in horror, "A stable!" But he is adamant. That's enough. Delet and S-Master watch silently as Senji is carried away, screaming that he is the former guild master. Teru asks them to wait a bit, and Delet, exhaling, turns to S-Master. "Teacher?" S-Master, leaving, asks Delet if he has plans for tomorrow evening. He answers in surprise that he does not. The S-Master, with shining eyes, anticipates, "Tonight, just the two of us." The next day, they are met by a red-haired man. "So you are the Delet Dono that everyone is talking about?" Delet recalls with embarrassment how he was expelled from Nanahikari and what happened then. Red is happy to see S-Master again, calling her commander, against the backdrop of the training yard. Delet, looking at Kamina and Sinma, darkens, but compared to this? Meanwhile, Senji receives a severe reprimand for damaging the sword and faces execution. Red reminds Delet, "Delet Dono, it's time to start repairing Amaruga." With a bang, they hand him a huge bag with the inscription, "Deleto Dono." Inside the bag are the rarest materials, steel ore, lava stone, aqua stone, and hardening magic stone. Red explains that these treasures were hidden from Nanahikari, and they will be happy to serve Delet. Red proudly declares that these materials will become part of the legendary Amaruga. Delet thanks for the generosity, promising to use the materials for their intended purpose. The escort asks Delet to let them watch, and the girls immediately join in with cries of, "Me too!" Delet readily agrees, of course, or against the backdrop of a clear sky. Delet studies the broken blade, wondering if it can surpass his past creations. S-Master and the girls are delighted, anticipating the spectacle, while Senji frowns on the sidelines. Delet puts on the glove with determination, eager to surpass himself. The action moves to the forge, where the magic is about to begin. In the blink of an eye, Delet fixes the sword. The improved Amarugi shines, causing a flurry of questions from the admiring spectators. The S-Master beams with pride. "Master, you are so popular. I am proud of your Sinma too." Delet, embarrassed, remembers Militaru, while Senji mutters darkly in the background. Delet suggests that Senji start with spear swings, but he explodes. "Don't you dare order me around!" The escort immediately kicks Senji, protecting Delet, who is only watching. Delet gives Senji a hammer and a plate. "Try to flatten it, just watch your fingers." Senji swings his hammer with determination. S-Master and the girls watch tensely. Crash! The hammer slips and hits Senji's finger. Everyone is horrified. Senji rolls on the ground in pain, screaming at the top of his lungs, the hammer flying off to the side. Delet tries to help, but Senji pushes him away. "Don't interfere. Your sympathy is not needed." The attendant scolds Senji, and Delet sighs heavily. What a torment. In the evening, the whole company celebrates in the tavern the appointment of Delet as personal blacksmith. In the tavern, everyone clinks glasses together, shouting, "Here's to us!" The S-Master asks with an impassive face, "So what?" The boy, Confit, asks Teru in surprise why they are here, and she only smiles. Red explains that he invited everyone, while S-Master drains his mug in one gulp, and Confit tries to stop her. Suddenly, Delet dolls appear, 25-year-old and 40-year-old versions, as a symbol of the holiday. S-Master, giggling, begins to play with Delet's dolls, making them fight. Delet is shocked. Red notices that there are more dolls and praises the stranger for his hard work. The S-Master continues to play enthusiastically, and the red-haired man sighs that the commander will be like this until he goes to bed. S-Master suddenly freezes in shock. Her previous image crumbles. Delet can't keep up with her changing mood. Someone turns to Delet. "Delet-san, I heard from Confit about the blacksmithing competition." The woman thanks Delet for the wonderful weapon for Confit, but he modestly refuses. She insists that Confit's victory is his doing, but Delet attributes it all to the boy's training and bravery. Confit, with a spoon in his mouth, only remains meaningfully silent, listening to their conversation. Red suddenly asks Delet why he doesn't forge a weapon for himself. Delet is puzzled. "A weapon? I'm not an adventurer, why would I need one?" The red-haired man immediately becomes inspired. "Teacher, that's a great idea." The master, playing with dolls, supports. This way he will better understand the feelings of the warriors. Delet thoughtfully admits, there really is something to that. His chibi version immediately appears with a huge spoon as a weapon. It is announced to the assembled crowd, Delet Dono will forge a weapon for himself. The S-Master beams, proficiency in weapons will improve your forging. The crowd explodes in applause. "We will teach you! Trust us!" Delet sheepishly thanks everyone for their support. Suddenly, Senji shouts in rage, "I don't agree! This is not fair!" He demands weapons for himself as well, asking why all the honors go only to Delet. The S-Master interrupts him with a shout, "Enough chatter! Time to forge!" The crowd sighs in disappointment, and Delet just smiles awkwardly. The action moves to the warehouse of Gross's army. Delet is in the warehouse, pondering what materials to choose for his weapons. He enthusiastically sorts through the treasures, and this is good, and this is really rare. The S-Master is surprised. "Why not A-rank materials? You were given permission." Delet modestly replies, "The best materials are more needed by warriors. The simple ones are enough for me." S-Master is deeply touched by his selflessness. Delet notices her reaction and she turns away, embarrassed. "The teacher is so noble," S-Master whispers admiringly, covering his face. Delet, holding modest blanks, waves his hand. "Oh, come on, Militaru, this is enough." A crowd of curious people surrounds the blacksmith. What will it be? An axe? A spear? A staff? Delet announces with a smile, "I've thought it all through. It'll be a sword." The S-Master immediately calls out, "A sword? I'll teach you how to use it." Chibi Delet is in a panic. Training with S-Master promises to be intense. Delet in the forge, smiling, says to S-Master, "Perhaps this will be what we need." He proudly displays an ordinary hammer. The master and the crowd are amazed. "A hammer?" Delet explains that blacksmiths also use hammers, showing different types. "I will forge based on the feeling of swinging a spear," says Delet. The crowd gasps in admiration. "I see," as expected from Delet-san. Delet raises the huge, skillfully forged warhammer in triumph. "Not bad," thinks Delet, and S-Master immediately, "I have an idea for a name." The crowd buzzes in anticipation. The commander certainly has excellent taste. The S-Master beams, suggesting, "How about a Delet hammer?" The crowd is perplexed, and Delet is shocked by such a simple name. But then everyone explodes with an approving hum, while Delet blushes with embarrassment. "What a cool name, simple and clear, and the shape matches," the crowd shouts. S-Master beams with pride, while Delet tries to avoid such attention. "Well then," the crowd decides, accepting the name. Delet breathes a sigh of relief. Well, somehow it worked out, while cheers can be heard outside. Before us is Delet Hammer, rank S, attribute, wholly powerful blow with magic. A few weeks later, at the second training ground, Delet lets out a furious cry as he brings his massive hammer down on the training dummy. The redhead encourages, "Delet-san, you've made great progress." Delet thanks with a smile. Red advises Delet to be careful when swinging the hammer so as not to open himself up. He suggests training defense as well, since the hammer, unlike the sword, is good for this. At the beginning of the training, Delet could barely move. His whole body ached from the unusual load. But soon Delet is already confidently waving his hammer, and Red encourages him, "Keep it up." Delet realizes that his blacksmithing experience helps him wield a hammer better than he thought. After an intense series of punches, Delet decides to take a short break. He sits down tiredly under a tree, placing his huge hammer next to him. Suddenly, S-Master appears, praising Delet for his diligence in training and forging. She admits that thanks to him she feels needed and is happy to spend time with him and the soldiers. In the background, training soldiers notice Delet and wave happily at him. Delet smiles warmly at S-Master, who notices something on his belt. S-Master points to the chibi figures of Delet and Senji. "So you wear these all the time?" Delet thoughtfully says, "By the way," and S-Master looks at him sympathetically. He recalls the past. Those were truly furious days. Delet ponders, "If it weren't for that letter from Militaru, what would have become of me?" S-Master speaks dreamily of the precious days in the new land, and Delet hopes that they will last. A sudden clatter interrupts their peace. Someone is running with a cry, "Report! Report!" A breathless soldier reports to the S-Master, "Commander, emergency situation." The soldier exhales with difficulty. "In the Stone Tree Forest?" "Iron Bear spotted. A special mutated A-rank monster," the beast in the image roars. S-Master and Delet are shocked by the news about Iron Bear. They hurry, and Delet asks Militaru, "What kind of special mutant is this?" The S-Master explains on the go that this is an extremely dangerous monster. Such monsters possess high intelligence and incredible ferocity, appearing extremely rarely. Delet turns pale when he learns that these creatures attack people simply by sight. S-Master, apologizing for the terrible details, suddenly invites Delet to go with them. Delet is in complete horror. What? Why? He clearly did not expect this. An image of a stern judge passing sentence flashes through his mind, a hint at the seriousness of the situation. The S-Master announces to the soldiers, "Everyone knows that Iron Bear has been spotted in Stone Tree Forest." She describes his main feature, metal armor and a black ring on his neck. S-Master explains, Delet will go with them to check the materials from the monster for weapons. Delet, though excited, sees this as a chance to test the fruits of his training. The soldiers in the cart are prepared, knowing that the monster is not afraid of ordinary attacks. The detachment with the carts resolutely sets out on its way to the dangerous forest. A few hours later, Delet notices how the darkness is thickening around him. The expedition arrives at the gloomy edge of Stone Tree Forest. The S-Master orders the soldiers to split up and begin searching. The fighters immediately disperse, going deeper into the dark thicket. S-Master, Delet, and Red prepare to follow the others. An ominous silence hangs over the dense, impenetrable forest. The trio cautiously steps deeper into the eerie Stone Tree Forest. Red is shaking with excitement. After all, a real fight is tense. Delet asks if he is nervous too. Delet encourages Red, reminding him that S-Master is with them, and she nods confidently. The S-Master explains, "We have only one effective weapon against him, the holy attribute." The camera focuses on her sword and Deleta's hammer, weapons with holy attributes. At the clearing, S-Master says that attacks without a holy attribute make the monster regenerate. Delet thinks that only he can create such a weapon. S-Master explains that previous blacksmiths were unable to create weapons from the monster's materials, which is why Delet is here. Delet confidently states, "If we create a holy weapon from its materials, we will be able to resist this anomaly." Red is enthusiastically believing in Delet, but suddenly all three freeze, hearing something. A squad of goblins jumps out of the bushes and Red cries out, "Goblins!" Red screams in panic, "They'll eat us!" And Senji makes a frightened face. The S-Master notices 5 goblins and suggests that their lair may be nearby. Delet asks if they will fight, but S-Master replies that he will simply drive them away. An invisible force throws the goblins back, causing them to scream in surprise. Delet is surprised to see some of the goblins running away, while 2 of them look at them angrily. The goblins charge and S-Master shouts for Delet and Red to stand back. Delet brings his massive hammer down with all his might, sending Senji flying. S-Master and Red watch in shock as the goblins fly apart from the powerful blow. Delet notes with satisfaction, "Excellent, the results of the training are obvious." S-Master and Red applaud enthusiastically, impressed by Delet's strength. The redhead exclaims in admiration, "Delet-sama, you are magnificent." And the S-Master adds that his training has produced amazing results. Delet thanks them sheepishly, still holding his hammer at the ready. The S-Master suggests moving on, but a sudden crash makes all 3 freeze. Red screams, "What's that sound?" Delet is alarmed, and S-Master yells at them to be careful. The camera pans down an empty but ominous forest path ahead of them. The S-Master suddenly throws his head up, shouting, "Dodge," noticing the danger from above. A huge dark mass like a giant root or paw falls on them from the sky. Delet looks up in horror as a colossal threat looms directly above them. A powerful blow shakes the ground, throwing the trio back and splitting the ground beneath their feet. The S-Master, with difficulty restraining himself, shouts to Delet and Red, "Are you okay?" Red thanks S-Master, but she yells at them not to relax. Iron Bear himself emerges from the shadows, announcing his arrival. Delet is horrified by the gigantic size of the special mutant. Bear orders Red to blow his whistle, and he nervously obeys. A loud whistle echoes through the forest, signaling to the rest of the soldiers. The S-Master steps forward decisively. "I will fight him." She draws her sword, which begins to glow brightly with holy energy. S-Master is surprised. Her sword glows cleaner and brighter than ever before. The heroes stand frozen in front of the massive Iron Bear, preparing for battle. Suddenly the monster disappears, leaving Delet and Red completely bewildered. The S-Master rushes towards the enemy with incredible speed, performing the dance of the god of speed. She attacks Iron Bear, Delet, and Red watch in amazement at her lightning-fast movements. The bear, having received a blow, growls in bewilderment. The attack did not have the desired effect. The S-Master is surprised. He skillfully protected his vulnerable spot. The monster uproots the tree and swings it like a huge club. The S-Master looks forward with determination as wood shards fly towards them. She stands up to protect her comrades, deflecting debris and fruits flying at them. Delet admires her skill and Red is proud of his commander. S-Master notes the mutant's high intelligence. Iron Bear roars and rushes straight towards them, the ground shaking under his paws. The S-Master steps forward decisively, ready to take the blow. "I'll hold him off." Iron Bear charges at S-Master, baring his fangs in a furious attack. The S-Master dodges with difficulty, her face distorted with tension. The redhead screams in horror, "Commander, it's dangerous!" seeing the monster rushing towards her. Delet froze in fear as the bear's giant paw swung over him. Suddenly, Delet shouts, "Take that!" and brings his hammer down directly on the beast's head. S-Master thanks Delet, but immediately shouts to Red, "Confit, don't move!" noticing that the bear is getting up. The monster rushes to attack again. S-Master and Delet prepare for a new clash. A powerful blow from the bear throws S-Master and Red to the side. Delet looks with determination at his flying comrades. Rizzy watches the commander's flight in shock. Red tearfully apologizes to the landed S-Master, but she calmly consoles him. Delet clutches his hammer, realizing that reinforcements have not yet arrived and he must protect his friends. His face is distorted with rage. He is ready for battle. The name Delet is written next to him. The opponents silently assess each other, tension hanging in the air. The bear takes a step back and Delet notices a strange dark glow around him. The monster crouches to the ground, preparing to pounce, and Delet realizes that the glow indicates its essence. The beast rushes forward with a roar, raising a cloud of dust and stones. Delet grits his teeth, surprised by the enemy's unexpected blinding attack. S-Master and Redhead scream "Sensei" in horror as they see the bear swinging at Delet. Delet decides to put all his magical power into this hammer blow. Close-up of his determined face, ready to unleash his full power. Delet's blow leaves a huge smoking crater, leaving S-Master and Red in shock. "What happened?" Red shouts, seeing Delet near the defeated beast.